it's an inbuilt command. So this is available to you once you have already installed Python. And I'll use the idle. That's the integrated development environment that comes or that ships with a standard Python installation. So I just launched that right now. So I just type, I'm using a Windows machine. So I just type idle and then I'll open it. Just give it a second. So once that opens, already gives you like some of the things you could type if you're using the interactive command shell, which is this. So you could type help. For example, you could say help on print. It'll tell you everything about the print command. It takes certain values, has a separator. So this is how you be expected to use it. So the command that I want us to learn about is called dir. So dir, you usually typically supply it an object. Supply it an object, and then it gives you a list of strings. When you call it without an argument, it returns the names in the current scope. Else it returns. So let me show you a good example. So you just use the dir inbuilt function without supplying any argument. It'll show you in the what's available in the scope. So let's see what's this name all about anyway. So this tells us that the name of the script you're running is called main. It's something that you can use later on when you have a module and you need to ensure that that module is actually itself, it's running, it's not being imported into another module. Then that becomes very important as an execution point in a module. So there's so many other things you could go to. What is this doc? So you do notice this something called the double underscore. It is used here. So these are called Dunder methods or Dunder what? Yeah, Dunder methods. Yeah. Sometimes you might want to do that. All right. So I had promised you that we were just going to cover the dir command. So what we're going to do is I would want us to import some library into our scope. So let's import the math library. These are a library that comes with the core Python installation, so it exists within the. You don't have to install a third-party module or package to be able to access it. And you could, if you're learning Python, one of the easiest ways to just import a module that you know about, then use the dir command. You just know what kind of functionalities, what kind of method does that object expose, what kind of attributes does it have. So in this case, let me just use a print statement and I use the dir mark. Just it doesn't change much, but still much better. So this tells us that the math library, the math module, has this number of you could actually count like how many. That's another function using len that will return to us the number of elements. So it has 63 either attributes or methods that are associated with it. So for example, we could say we want to know what's the value of pi. Just type math.pi. I think it's just a value. Yeah, it's a value. It will give you that. And then if you wanted to say maybe I want the square root of 4 math, so you're gonna type math dot square root. SQRT number 4. Let's just use an integer and see what that gives us 2.0. Now, if I didn't know what sin sign is all about, I could have used the dir command. So I can type the object and then now I was able to know that it has a sin, a sign function. I can just list that and that will give me more into what that particular um, module within the math library has, or what kind of methods does it expose, what kind of attributes does it have. So let's continue and see what we can use. Math.sign.doc. So doc is a doc, it does doc string, so it should tell us more about what that function does, and we can just encapsulate that or provide that as an argument to the print function. So I want to see what the documentation or the doc strings are about. So it returns the sign of x measured in radians. So the sign of let's put say what pi, and see how that gives us sign of math.pi. What do we get? That's the value of it. So it's a math sign. Let's say math.pi divided by 4. So that's the sign of that of pi over 4. All right, so let's see something else that might make much more sense. Let's use the dir on math dot square root, which I'm assuming you already know what that does. It should just give us the square root of a number. All right, so it shows us all of that. So you now go to math dot square root dot, let's still see what that particular method does. So square root returns the square root of x. So essentially what you could do then is you could try and see what other values these expose. A lot of times we will not use all of these. Let's say we want to see what's multiple square root dot name is all about. What's that? Well, it just gives you the name of this particular function within the math library, within the maths module, sorry. Now, if we just scroll up a little bit, we can see that within the maths module has the floor, which is something I would want us just to also have a kind of a look at. And I was thinking, I think it's seal. All right, sail. So I want to know what's math.floor. What does it do? So I can do the same thing. It's showing me all the methods and attributes that exist for math.floor. And then what I can do is math.floor, and I can use doc. Let's see, I can just wrap that within a print statement so that it appears a bit better. Floor, then doc. There we go. Shows that it returns the floor of x as an integral. This is the largest integer, which is less than or equals to x. So if you say math.floor, alternatively you could use the help command. I'll say math.floor. Let's see what that gives you. So it gives you the same value as you could access from the doc attribute, the double underscore doc string attribute. Now let's just then put math.floor. Let's give it a number. Let's say like 2.3. It tells us the biggest integer value, which is less than or equals to 2.3 is 2. If we did that with math.floor, and then we say 2.9, still gonna give us 2. Now, if you were to do the same with math.sale, now we know that it will most likely have this attribute, which will give us like the doc string. So you can just say print math.sale, right? Then the doc attribute. So it returns the ceiling of x as an integral. This is the smallest integer that's greater than or equals to x. So when you say math.floor of 2.3, it should give us 3. Oh, it gives us 2. Sorry, what am I doing? Sorry for that, I mixed up this. Seal of 2.3 to give you the ceiling. That's a 3. Mark the seal of 2.9 can give you the largest integer that is greater than or less than or equals to x. So 3. So 2 exists within a space. 2.3 is like here. Yeah, like here. So its floor is this number 2, and its ceiling is 3, which is up here. So that's what the math.floor or the math.ceiling really means. So with that, I believe you've learned something about dir inbuilt function that will allow you to you know, get to understand what attributes, what functions are in a particular object that you're provided with. So with that, you could go ahead and still maybe use it with the print command and see what does that have. So it will tell you the print function has certain attributes and methods. So for example, let's just see what class is all about. So this tells us these are class, built-in, functional method. So what I normally like to do is I like to try that. It tells you that's an attribute. So that's one of the ways of telling it's an attribute. Then what else could be interesting here? str. All right. Okay, let's try print dot str. So let's say like 9. Let's see what happens. Expected 0 arguments got 1. So let's use this without an argument. str. What happens? It's a built-in function print. This is interesting. It seemed to be a good example of what I wanted to say. So let's just create a sample string. So let's just call it my str is equals to hello, right? So I wanted to know if say type is another inbuilt function that tells you what kind of a data type that particular variable is. So in this case, it tells us it's a string class, or it belongs to the string class. So if I wanted to find out what methods exist or what attributes this my str is able to use, I can be able to just use the dir command. That tells me that apart from the double underscore methods and attributes, I can be able to capitalize, I can be able to case fold, center, count, encode. So for example, let's just use count, which is be fairly easy or trivial to use. So I want to count how many letter L's are there in hello. So that gives us 2, which is the 2 L's here. If I wanted to know, for example, what I want to know, I want to maybe print this with a capital H. So I could say print my str.title. That's a method that the string object has. Not just because, so everything that a string is an instance of a string will have these methods that are outlined here. There are quite many. And since the purpose of this video is not ready to take you through the details, I just wanted to know how you can kind of dig deep into what methods or what functions exist in an object, and also what attributes exist in an object. Now let's just go back to the initial dir command without arguments. Now it will show us everything that we have within our current scope. So it will show us that we, at some point, we created a string object. At some point, we imported a math module, and then these were already there. So the name is used to determine whether the script or the module we are running, whether it's the main one or is it being imported from another end of a module. So with that, I hope you gain something in terms of how to use a dir function, inbuilt function, just to be able to dig deep into any Python object and be able to see what lies under the hood. That was really the importance of this video, just to tell you that this is dir command that is, can come in handy just to quickly give you certain details that you don't necessarily have to go to the references or to the Python standard documents. So with that, do like the video if you found this to be useful, and subscribe if you would like to receive content like this in the future. And click on the bell icon just to receive notifications once we upload something new. So thank you. See you in the next one.